Yaakov read it twice.
Okay, read it so that you may know how that doesn't tell you what Yaakov thinks it tells you.
Well, I'm doing something else now, but Yaakov can read it again if he's in front of
Well,
it.
is Maimonides
Bro,
okay?
I'll
And it's
read it,
13
bro.
principles of faith.
Give me the verse. What was it?
It's Exodus chapter 24.
Well, no,
Exodus
you're
chapter
asking
24,
Yaakov,
verse
so
12.
let Yaakov answer you. He has an
Okay,
answer.
it is Exodus chapter 24, verse
Let
12, which says nothing about oral Torah. In fact, it says everything about the duality in the Old Testament God. If
So
you
read
actually
it again,
compare it
Yaakov.
with verse 1. Yeah.
24:12, right?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it by heart. That's the thing.
Read
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
Yeah, we don't memorize. Read it out loud, one of you.
I know the whole 24 is so actually Exodus
For
chapter
the fourth
24.
time, read it out loud and let's
Exodus
discuss
chapter
it.
Bro, I'll read
24
it,
is so
bro.
destructive to the Jewish
Let's
theology.
listen to the reading, please.
You want me to read it or who's
Yes,
gonna read
yes.
it? Like,
Go ahead, read it.
Wait, where are
so
you reading it from?
yeah, from my Bible, if I may.
Yeah, that's a translation of a translation. Go
Yeah,
to
Astaghfirullah.
this
Should we read it in
Wow,
We
Arabic?
asked you
is
4
we're
I
times
gonna
to
can
play
read
read
it.
the
it.
Then read
game.
I
it,
can.
Yaakov.
Get it in
I can.
Aramaic,
I can read it in
Frankie.
Aramaic.
No,
Give me a
listen,
verse.
bro.
No,
Give me a
I
verse.
need
that's just what it is. That's how
So
they play the
now
game.
we're
I can
arguing
Now
read.
you're
about
not
who's
listen,
reading
supposed
it.
to
bro.
read it
Yaakov,
unless it's
why
in
didn't you
Hebrew.
read it
Oh,
when
So if you
we
I
don't,
asked you to
can.
read it?
I can. Wait.
all right,
I can read
we're
it in
gonna have to
Aramaic.
mute everybody. That's how they play the game. So now you cannot read it unless it's in
No,
Hebrew.
we're
So if you
reading.
don't speak Hebrew, then you shouldn't be. So then, if you're not a Jew, there's no discussion. This is just a way to
Rabbi,
shut down discussion.
Rabbi,
I can read it in Aramaic.
bro,
Give me
I
the
put
verse.
it in
Which
the
verse?
chat. Like,
Arabic is allowed.
Fatima, either you read it or you go on mute.
I left
Which
it
one?
in the
Yaakov, why didn't
chat.
you read it when
Okay, so
we're
you
Wait,
go on mute.
wait,
arguing?
Rabbi. Rabbi, I can read it in Aramaic. Give me the
Yaakov, are you
verse.
there?
I dropped it in the chat, people.
We don't care about the chat. Either you read
Bro,
it or.
Rabbi, calm down. Like, come.
Well, man, it's not efficient. Okay, I like efficiency. Exodus
Sorry, I thought
chapter
you wanted
24,
somebody else
verse
to read it.
12. No one has to. You can read it on your own. Everyone on the stage and the audience, you can go ahead and find Exodus chapter 24, verse 12, and you can see how it has nothing about. Says nothing about any oral Torah.
Yaakov,
So
did you read it
Okay,
already?
again,
wait. Let me read it in Aramaic. Should I read it in Aramaic? Yes or no?
no, because that's just a way to shut down conversation that the Jews always try to do, but it doesn't
No,
matter.
but I can
No,
read it in Aramaic.
dude, if
I
you
understand. I
admit
speak.
that it's written in
But it
Torah, why
doesn't
is
say
this?
anything
This
about
is not a
Hebrew.
discussion. You know
Rabbi,
very well
Rabbi,
it's written
Rabbi.
in
Can I read it in
Hebrew.
Aramaic? Yes or
Yeah,
no?
that's retarded.
Wait.
Why is it retarded?
Motherfucker, wait. I will read it in
Because it's a
Aramaic.
way to shut down discussion.
We're not
Not a.
shutting it down. We're right here discussing.
No,
What's
you're
shut
saying
down?
that you have to read it.
Nobody
But
said you have to read
the
it.
claim was that
He didn't
that's
make
the
that claim.
translation of a translation. That was
Yeah,
the claim.
that doesn't mean that we can't
So what
read
does
it.
that mean? That means no matter what, you're not going to come to the truth. You don't speak
No, it
Hebrew.
just means what it says. It's a translation of a
Okay, I'm just saying
translation.
anyone who makes these claims will be moved to the audience because it's a waste of time. We
But
don't
you
care
Hey,
about
read.
Rabbi.
we don't care about your Yiddish tap dance. Don't play with Torah. Play with my balls. Don't play with
Nobody's
Torah.
tap
Hey,
dancing and
hey,
nobody's
Rabbi. I
Yiddish.
Wait,
have a
wait,
question.
wait. Shut
Daniel,
the
you can
fuck
go
up.
to the
All of you, shut
audience.
the fuck up. I will read it in Aramaic. Okay?
Yeah, Frankie, go ahead.
بشم دابة بروح القديشة وأمارة ماريا لمشيكا سكلاباتي لاتورا
Alhamdulillah.
وهواي تمام
What's the point?
وإيتاه لخويا لحيوانا دنن فانموسا وفقلا وإلى كتاب لموتا هنان. So it's like there is
It doesn't
nothing
say anything
about
about Torah.
in
Doesn't matter.
والكون.
Let's not, dude. I hate this game. I hate this game. You don't have to read it in Hebrew. You don't have to read it in Aramaic. You
Well,
can read
we
it in
read it in
Mandarin.
Hebrew because that's the
No, you don't
original.
have to. That's a
I didn't
retarded
say
claim. I'm
you
sorry.
had
That's so
to. I
retarded.
just
It's
said
so
that's
dumb. It's
the
so dumb. I'm
original.
sorry. It's so dumb. I'm sorry. It's so dumb. We're not gonna do that. That's so stupid. Like that's
What's
super
so
low IQ.
stupid?
Do you
That
know
is
why your
super low
rule
IQ.
ever
What is
The
written
super
down?
low
Torah is like
IQ?
literally the most simplest book that I've ever read in my entire life.
Hmm.
Bro,
Yeah, to
there's
claim
nothing.
that
So,
there's
so, so
So
tell
after
me.
I
it has
read
to
it,
be in Hebrew, you
there is
motherfuckers don't even
nothing.
speak
Nobody
There is
said
Hebrew.
it
nothing
had to
in
be
this
in Hebrew.
verse.
We
It's
just
just
There is
said
so
the
nothing.
stupid. I'm
original is
sorry.
Hebrew.
There is nothing in this verse
Okay.
that said there is or something about aura or something. You know.
There's no
So
oral Torah. There's
there is no
the
oral
only
Torah.
reason they believe in oral Torah is because oral Torah. This is like the Muslims. This is like circular reasoning. It's a logical fallacy. It's retarded. That's
I
what I'm saying.
understand it's not
So
part of your tradition, and it doesn't
it
bother
doesn't
me
have.
one
It's of
bit.
course not. I don't believe in logical fallacies.
It's not a logical fallacy. It's
It
just
is.
a
It's called circular
no,
reasoning. Can you Google
He's trying
circular
to
no.
reasoning?
hang around in
It's a
circles. Nothing
premise that
say
you don't
something.
No,
accept.
it's called
The
circular
same
reasoning.
way we don't accept that your guy is God, you don't accept our oral Torah. It doesn't
No,
bother me.
but that's the thing. Exodus chapter 24 shows you that there is a duality in the
Yeah,
persons of God. So
yeah.
you're
No,
literally
I actually
you're
understand where
referring
they're
to
Yeah,
a
coming
chapter that
from.
goes
yeah.
against your own belief.
Fatima, get the fuck down.
What chapter are you referring to now?
Exodus chapter 24, which is summoned by Yaakov, actually shows you that there's a duality unless Moses was retarded, grammatically speaking, which is what your rabbis believe. That's
I
not what I
see. So
believe.
you choose to believe it the way you choose to believe it. It's fine.
No, I choose to believe it as it's written.
Right, but your
We can read
interpretation
it.
of what's
No,
written
no,
is
it's
your
not interpretation.
interpretation.
No, it's
It's
not
not
Okay.
interpretation.
interpretation. There's
Well,
no
read it. Read
interpretation.
it in
That's
Hebrew.
grammar.
Read it in
What you're
Hebrew.
saying
I
is
can read it in
Moses
Aramaic.
didn't know grammar. That's what you're saying.
We've done this a million times. You
No, we
take the
haven't.
text. So
No, we
explain to
haven't.
me why you don't cut out somebody's eye. Let's take something neutral.
That's not what we're saying. We're talking about
Uh,
grammar.
well, okay. Why don't you
Do you
literally
understand that grammar is different than
wait?
interpretation?
Why don't you literally take
Because
out
we're
the
not talking
person's
about
eye?
interpretation. We're talking about grammar.
Okay.
It's a
Okay. So
grammar.
what's the answer to my question?
It's irrelevant because we're not talking about
It's not
interpretation.
irrelevant.
We're
We
talking
just
about
said that
grammar.
we interpret that
El
to mean
normal. We're
that.
talking about grammar. We're not talking about
Well, I'm
interpretation.
not
So
talking. No, you're
if
talking
it's
about
written, if it's
grammar.
written,
I'm
but
talking about
Lord,
what the
if
text
it's
is,
written,
and you guys
if
are
it's
talking
written,
over
if
me.
it's written,
You're not
but
talking
You
about the
the
text.
you guys want
if
to
it's
change the
written,
conversation now.
You're
no,
not talking
if it's
about the
written
text
in the Torah,
Okay,
but
then why not
Lord,
answer my question?
if
because your
it's
question
written,
is irrelevant. We're
wait,
talking
What?
about
It's
the
wait,
not
grammar, not the
irrelevant.
interpretation.
I took a line of
Yes, it is
Torah.
irrelevant because I'm telling
don't
you
I
change
about
the
the
I
topic,
grammar,
took a
don't
not
change the
about
line
the
of
topic,
Torah,
interpretation.
and I told you how we
don't
take it
change
in
the
the
But we don't
topic,
go by
Anu.
your line of Torah. We're
I
telling you,
understand.
I'm not
Tell us
talking
how
about
you
it,
how do
but I'm
you
not talking.
interpret
If
that?
the Lord, if in the Torah say,
We're not talking about interpretations. We're talking about grammar. If you talk about interpretations, we're gonna have to move you down. We're not talking about interpretations.
thank you.
We're talking about grammar.
I didn't say we were
So
talking about
okay, so
interpretations.
stick to dude. I'm not gonna play these games. We're talking
You
about
are
grammar.
playing
We're
a
not
game
talking.
because you
We're talking about grammar. We're not talking about interpretations.
Read the
So you're more
verse.
than welcome to read Exodus chapter 24, verse 1, and then compare it with verse
Read it for
12.
everyone. Read it
Oh,
for
I don't
everyone.
have to read it. It's not in front of me. Okay,
Say
so
واحد.
Exodus chapter 24, verse well, I'm paraphrasing. Exodus chapter 24, verse 1 says, He told Moses, Come up to the Lord. He is God the Father. Told Moses to come up to the Lord. Verse 12 says, The Lord told Moses, Come up to me. There's a very clear grammatical distinction between He, God the Father, and He, the Lord. So the Lord is God the Son, anyways. Exodus chapter 24 shows you a very clear duality in the personhood of God. The same goes for for Genesis chapter 18 and 19, for example. It shows you very clearly a duality in the personhood. So the Jews actually invoke verses and chapters that go against their own theology, but they try to find refuge in these verses, which you will not find. Read it. Exodus chapter 24, verse 1, and also verse 12. He told Moses, Come up to the Lord. Then verse 12. The Lord told Moses, Come up to me. That's not an interpretation. That is a clear grammatical distinction. Huge difference. Anyways, what a waste of time. Total waste of time. The Jews are a waste of time, dude, generally speaking. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you leave?
No, I had to move him down because I told him if you talk about
But where is he? He
we're gonna
left,
move
right?
you down. Yeah, because we're talking about grammar.
I mean, when after I was reading it in Aramaic, all of them didn't talk anymore. Didn't tell you to read it.
It's just a deflection. It's a way of shutting down the conversation. So, for example, another way of shutting down the conversation is if you don't study Talmud for 7 years, you can't talk about it. So you have to study it for 7 years, and only then magically somehow you will understand it. So they make a lot of retarded claims.
Rabbi,
A lot of retarded. It's like kind of like the Muslims.
Rabbi,
It's something that no reasonable man can like
I
accept.
mean, I can read it
Rabbi,
even in Aramaic. It says the same. ما امرأة لموش ساقة. I mean,
Rabbi,
if you read it from the start, when and the
Yeah,
Lord,
but that's what dude. It's
Rabbi,
not an actual
Rabbi,
argument. It's just a way to shut down
Rabbi,
the
yeah,
conversation. So
Rabbi,
if you
Rabbi, Rabbi,
even if you read it in Hebrew, then the
Rabbi,
next thing will be, oh, but you didn't study Talmud for 7
Rabbi,
years.
Rabbi.
Jacob, do you hear us speaking?
Are you Christian or Muslim?
But do you hear us speaking?
Are you Christian or Muslim?
But do you hear
get
us
the
speak?
Muslim.
get the fuck down. We are speaking, dude. Chill, calm down. Wait a minute, and then after talking.
Right. So Frankie, it is just the way
Inshallah.
you shouldn't take the argument at a. It's not an argument. It's a claim, and you shouldn't take it at face value because the only reason they invoke it is to shut down conversation. It doesn't
True.
matter which language you read it in. Now, if you read it in Hebrew, because a lot of people who are not Jews also speak Hebrew, then they will deflect to another point, which is you didn't study
Aura.
Talmud for 7 years. Now, if you speak Hebrew and you study Talmud for 7 years, then they will find the point is to shut down conversation. That's what I'm telling you. So it doesn't matter. You read it in Aramaic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. So what about the Targums? Because these are written in Aramaic, not in Hebrew. Now they don't speak Aramaic, so you have a linguistic advantage over them looking from a linguistic standpoint. It doesn't matter. It only applies one way because they're not thinking about it logically. They're just thinking about it to shut down conversation. Regardless, Peekaboo, go ahead.
Rabbi, are you Christian or Muslim?
I'm Christian.
You're Christian. Oh,
He's
okay.
Abdullah believer.
I just wanted to ask that question. Thank you.
Is that why you were interrupting us all the time?
Don't waste the time.
Have you ever seen a Muslim who knows Torah inside out? Like, what are you talking about? I know the Torah more than I know math, and I know math a lot. I mean, all I do.
You've answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, I know the Torah inside out, son. You see, when we were in school, some people used to play math, some people used to play soccer. I used to play Torah. How are you doing, Noha?
Hi,
I
I
gotta
want to
admit
answer.
that, like, I don't even want to say anything because this is such a huge fucking waste of time. And your
That's
response?
right.
I know a Muslim who knows the Torah inside out.
No, the Muslims
His
don't
name is
know the
Abdullah.
Torah.
No, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
The Prophet was retarded, and he actually
He
went
couldn't.
against
He
his
couldn't.
own words.
He was Mahul Ummiyah. Please don't say that. He was Mahul Ummiyah. He didn't know that. I mean, according
Your
to
prophet
Muslim
was
source.
actually retarded, and he
Yeah,
went
no,
against
according to a
For
Muslim
example,
source.
remember when he told you how many days on earth are days in heaven, and then how he flipped it, and how he. There's a reason why you have abrogation, because he kept making mistakes, and he had to go
No,
back
he
on the
was
words of
correcting
Allah.
it because it was
But it
corrected.
cannot be him doing it. It has to be Allah doing it. Like, it's exactly like Joseph Smith. Come on.
He was
Like, what do
correcting.
you think? See, that's the thing. Now we're done with the Jew, and now we're gonna deal with the Muslim, and you're both retarded in like very similar ways. Like, okay, look, you're dealing with people who are critical thinkers, and like, I have a brain. God gave me a brain so that
Me
I may
too.
be able to use it. Now, if you're
That's
not
right.
able to use your brain, boo boo, then you might as well use your ass.
That's
Shit.
right. She got a sweet ass.
I literally like have a bigger brain than you. Like,
But no, you don't.
what's
You
your
actually believe
IQ?
in pedophilia, but you cope
Wait,
by
wait.
adopting the
Your book
Shiite
says you have
tradition.
half of a brain.
She's a Sunni who believes in pedophilia, and so she copes, and
Even my female
she
half
adopts the
brain
Shiite
is
position
bigger than
when it's not
Rabbi's.
even a
So
Sunni position.
wait, Rabbi. Noha, how can you say that your prophet knew the Torah if, according to your sources, your prophet could not even read and talk?
What about the fact that he broke the
God
Torah? What
told
about the
him.
fact that he literally broke all the laws of sexual
Because
immorality given by
because
Moses?
he corrected the corrupted parts.
Oh,
MashaAllah.
he corrected it.
Also, was
Okay,
his
know how
mother
you're
pregnant
retarded.
with
I'm
him for
sorry.
4
Which one?
years?
Wait. Which one is the Torah? The Zabur?
She's retarded. She's retarded. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's a
wallah.
waste of time.
Zabur.
Yeah, I would like her to explain how her prophet was his mother gave birth to him for 4 years, or was it adultery?
No, but again, see, dude, it's just like the Jews deflect and try to shut down conversation. Muslims just say anything. Like, they just say anything.
And
That's
they will
zero
use
logic.
takia online. Like, your life's not danger. You don't have to use takia online.
Takia is a
Abdul.
Shia concept.
It's not
What's
No,
talking?
taqiyya,
no,
it's a
no,
cope. It's
no.
a
It's
cope.
not a
Talking
In
Shia
their
Fuego.
brain,
concept. Do
in their
you know
brain,
there is
it
a
has
hadith?
to be correct. It has to be
No,
correct.
no. If
So we're
someone is
gonna cook
drinking,
it in a way that makes it correct.
wait,
That's
wait,
literally
wait,
Muslim life.
wait,
I don't
Noha,
care that
can you
much to
lie?
do
Wait,
takia. That's
Noha,
the
Noha,
thing.
can you lie?
Yeah, you do.
According to a Sunni sources, can you lie to bring someone to Islam?
I have no idea, but
Well,
I know
yeah, you know it's
takia.
yes, you know it's yes. So she can make taqiyya.
I
That's how
actually
you go with
genuinely
it.
I don't know. I actually don't know genuinely.
Yes, of course you don't know. Now,
Whoa.
I will
Well, you
tell you.
can't use takia
According
on believers
I
because
know that
according to
lying is a
Muslims,
major
155.
sin, but I don't know about the nuances.
according to Muslims, I can give you the sources. Even it's a
Well,
Sunni
okay, but
source.
takia is
Let
not
me
a
finish.
Sunni
Let
thing.
me finish.
Just don't say
Let me.
takia. That's not a Sunni thing.
It is the same. So lying to bring someone to believe in Islam is not a sin. Alhamdulillah.
Where
Well, if she's
where are
not
you
using
getting this
takia
from?
on us and we're
No, I
believers,
couldn't
then
care
she's
less.
kafar.
I literally couldn't
So
care. If I wanted
imagine,
you guys,
imagine
if I wanted you
Rabbi
guys
is
to
an
be
alcoholic.
Muslim, I wouldn't lie. I would bring you guys
imagine.
to Islam overnight if I wanted.
Wait. Imagine
How
Rabbi
would you
is
do that?
alcoholic. Wait, Lulu. Imagine Rabbi is alcoholic, and I will tell him, Rabbi, in Islam, it's halal to drink. And Rabbi convert, then after I can slap the shit out of him because he's
Actually, it
convert
was
already.
halal. It was
Yeah,
not
it
only
was.
halal, but it was also encouraged to drink in
I've
Islam.
never heard of
And
people
then
lying.
alcohol became gradually not
Of
okay.
course.
Okay, so everything is like that with Islam.
Wait, hold on, Rabbi.
Allah says something,
Are
and then
you
He goes
saying?
back on it.
Are you literally saying you can tell someone like, oh, it's okay to
What we're
drink?
telling you is that I don't believe in a God that makes mistakes. I don't believe in a God that makes mistakes and has to keep correcting himself as he goes.
Wait,
Or
you
the one
believe
that's
that
the best
abrogation?
deceiver.
You believe that legal abrogation is a mistake?
Of course.
But for us, it's
Again,
just a
I
part
know
of.
how you exactly like I said, which is why I moved you down, because talking to you is a waste of time. Uh, in the Muslim mind, it must be the correct truth. Therefore, we're gonna twist everything to make it so, and whatever happens, we're gonna justify it. So, if your God makes a mistake and he has to go back on it a million times in many different ways, then it must be that that is okay.
In Surat
I
Al
don't know. I
Kafirun,
don't know why you
meaning the
think that that's
disbelievers, it says, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, say to those who disbelieve, I do not worship what you worship. You do not worship what I worship. I'll never.
and nobody gives two dumb shits about what you say, dude. What a waste of time.
Why do you keep pushing people down, bro? Relax.
Because we
Because
don't
that's not
care,
an
bro.
argument. I'm not in the. Again, I said it earlier before the Muslims came in here. I don't. I'm not in the business of claims. I'm in the business of arguments. So I don't care about your retarded like reiteration of your beliefs. I know your beliefs more than you know them. I'm not interested
That's
in.
all right.
I'm interested in why should I believe what you believe. That requires an argumentation, not just a reiteration of statements of faith. It's a waste of my time.
Do you think
Respectfully.
like I'm here to do dawah? Like,
I think you're
Maybe.
here to eat my ass. That's what I think you're here
yeah,
for.
I
okay,
think
fuck
you're
off, mate.
kafar. Kafar.
Who's this guy? How many rabbis are there on Clubhouse, bro? I can't
Too
keep
much.
up.
We are legion, for we are many.
May Allah bless Jolani and MBS.
Whoa,
Bye,
whoa,
guys.
whoa, whoa.
Astaghfirullah,
Wait,
astaghfirullah,
wait.
astaghfirullah,
Inshallah.
astaghfirullah. Bro,
No, so fun.
what is these retards? From
That's
where do you get these retards? From where? She
ah,
wanna bless Julani. Like, oh. She talks shit about Shia and she wanna bless Julani. MashaAllah. Promoting it is halal.
she believes in pedophilia.
Of course. No, she make her own religion.
No, she actually believes in pedophilia, but then she justifies it by adopting a Shiite position. But even the Shiite position exposes her ass because, according to the Shiite position, pedophilia is also okay. Because she's saying Aisha is not 9, Aisha was 18. That's the Shiite position, which she shouldn't go by. She's a Sunni, and her sources definitively say no, she was 6 and got fucked at 9. Okay, so now she adopts the Shiite position as a cope, but the Shiite position tells you that Umar bin Khattab actually fucked a girl when she was 8, and he forced her parents to get him to marry her. Otherwise, he would wipe them all out. So that is the Shiite position. Yeah, pedophilia is okay in Islam. It doesn't matter if you're Sunni or Shiite. So it's just a cope. It's just a cope. That's all it is. But it's boring. It bores me to death. Shit. Oh, child. Frankie, Abdullah, how are you doing today?
Wallah, alhamdulillah, I'm studying
Me
the
too.
whole day.
Me too. I'm owning these.
Wallah, it is such a waste of time. I'm studying and I'm listening to all this bullshit.
Oh, I'm reading about periodic cash flows, motherfucker.
Abdullah Catholic.
Who's Abdullah Catholic?
I don't know.
No, I
What
said.
do you think about the new Pope?
Sorry.
What do you think about? Did you listen? He's too radical. Ah, Yakub is back.
I don't care
Yakub, my
about.
friend.
I don't care about the Pope.
No problem. Don't start with me now. Chill.
No, I'm
Yakub,
not.
what's
I'm
up?
telling you that I don't care about him.
I know, Habibi. Allah يخليك. عرفنا.
I don't go
Yakub.
by the
I
Pope.
was thinking the Pope would come from Africa, to be
No,
honest.
let's go back. Let's go back to the topic. Yakub, what do you think about rabbis?
About Black Rabbi?
No, about what Rabbi was telling you about Exodus 12:24, or was
24:12. Wasn't
it
there?
24:12? Sorry.
It's not 24:12. It's 24:12 while also keeping in mind 24:1. and then you can find a clear grammatical distinction. It's not an interpretation; it's a clear grammatical distinction. The
24.
only way the rabbis are correct is if Moses was like intellectually impaired and he had no understanding of basic grammar in a way that's very consistent. So he consistently doesn't know grammar in a specific way. So do all the other prophets. It's not just Moses. They're all like mentally impaired in the same way. That's the only way the rabbis can be correct. If you read it, it's very clear. Again, it says, verse 1 says, He, which is Hashem, told Moses, come up to the Lord. Verse 12, the Lord
Wait,
told
where are
him,
you?
24:12.
Oh, hold on.
24:1 and 24:12.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me go there. 1 second.
Yeah, 24 verse 1, 24 verse 12.
Okay.
The beginning of them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
24 verse 1, he told Moses, come up to the Lord. Verse 12, the Lord told him, come up to me. This is a duality in the personhood of God. You can
Damn.
see it, I think, in Genesis 18 and 19 and elsewhere. But Genesis 18 and 19 are perfect for that
God
also.
said to Moses, come up to Adonai with
Uh-huh.
Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu. What's the problem?
There's no problem. It's simply the
Okay.
first line of that is God told Moses, come up to Adonai.
All right.
Verse 12, Adonai tells Moses, come up to me. That is a grammatical distinction between the person. That's a distinct person.
Do you see it?
Well, yeah, that's look. It's the divine word. That's how
No,
God.
that's not cope. That's what we call in English a cope.
I mean, at least he's honest. He said it's a.
No, that's a cope. That's nothing more than a cope. It's a very clear grammatical distinction. Now, the second person called Adonai,
It's beyond our capabilities to understand why God
no, we
made
can't
that
understand it. Of
distinction.
course we can.
No, we can't.
God didn't reveal anything to us that we cannot comprehend. Hence, he revealed it. God does not play games with us. See, that's my problem with the Jew.
Okay, shotness.
Uh, The second person, which is the
Shotness. We
person,
can't understand that.
the second, I don't even know what that word is, and I don't care. This, that's something maybe the rabbis created. I don't even know. Doesn't matter. Let's stick to what we have in the Torah.
It is in the Torah.
This second person called Adonai has a form. If you go back a little bit between verse 9 and 12, you will find that indeed they have went. So you read it. Verse 12 says what? God told Moses, come up to the Lord, you, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, right? And Aaron, and 70 of the elders of Israel. Then these guys went on the mountain and they saw the Lord, the God of Israel. They saw Adonai, the second person. And he has a human form. He occupies a physical location. He has feet, and under his feet, like a sapphire stone, they ate and drank, and they saw the God of Israel. They ate
Okay,
and drank.
where are you where it says he has a feet?
This is between verse 9 and 12.
Okay, hold on.
And under his feet were of a sort like sapphire stones, proving to you not only the human form, but also a geographic location that he enters the volume of physicality. He enters creation. So God the Father is different than God the Son. What Moses saw is God the Son. That's why Jesus said, it was me who gave the tablets to Moshe on Mount Sinai.
Well, we completely disagree, so I don't want to go back and forth because
Yeah, but you can
you have
disagree,
a
but
Christian
that's what I'm saying.
interpretation. That's fine. Look, you have your interpret. Look, I'm not going to
That's
force my
not an
interpretation on
interpretation.
you.
Dude,
Oh,
that's come
please,
on. Like
no.
that raises my blood pressure like crazy because that's not an interpretation. That's a grammatical distinction. That's not an interpretation. It's not a matter of interpretation.
Saw the God of Israel. The God of Israel. It's God of Israel. That's
Yes.
it. No,
Yeah.
it's nothing more simpler
Yeah.
than
Oh,
that.
that's how you've been taught. I understand. Now you've also been taught that God has no form. Yeah, this one does. This one that is clearly grammatically distinct. Yet your rabbis tell
God
you it's not.
can take any form he wishes.
But he has no form.
In general, yeah.
Oh,
I
so
think this
sometimes
is
he
the
does.
only version of. I think this is
So
the only
yeah,
time.
now you entered the modalist heresy.
Yeah, but he also said, "Let us make man in our image."
Yeah, this
So
is called exactly because there's multi-personal God. So the Jews before the second temple, in the second temple period, a lot of Jews actually believe that. So, but then the rabbinical Judaism changed things, which is what you guys follow, and that's my critique: is that the rabbinical Judaism is actually totally opposed to Judaism. That's my whole point.
Okay.
They literally changed the whole thing with
Uh,
Rashi.
okay.
Regardless, you can see a clear grammatical distinction, and that second person, which is grammatically distinct, has a form, unlike the first. So
No,
they
the
have different.
first one just says God. It doesn't have a description. The second one says God. It has a description. They're not different. They're
Yeah,
just
they
one
are
has a
different,
description, one
but you're
doesn't.
ignoring it. You're ignoring how verse
No, I'm
one tells.
not. One has no
Okay.
form. It just says go
So
up to
you're
God.
so are you saying that verse one doesn't say that God told Moses come up to the Lord,
It
and verse
does. It
12?
says come up to God. Come up to God.
No, it doesn't
Come
say
up
that.
to Adonai.
Aha, come up to Adonai. Then verse
Right.
12 says Adonai tells him come up to me.
I
That's
don't
a
know why this is a hill you're dying on. It's
because
like
that's a grammatical distinction.
fine that, and that's what God chose to make that grammatical distinction.
Okay, and I'm saying that God isn't an irrational schmuck, and He makes things clear for a reason.
And there are certain things He doesn't make clear, and we
But
have
then
yet to
you know
figure
them.
them out.
But if they're not clear, how do you know? No, I disagree with that. That goes against the words of Isaiah when he says, "I haven't spoken to you in secret from the beginning." You can't pit the prophets against one another.
I'm not splitting the
So a
prophet.
lack of clarity is not a secret.
Bro, and normal, please let them finish. Please, I'm
There's no
listening to
lack of
them.
clarity. It cannot get clearer. It is humanly impossible for it to get clearer.
This is not human. That's the whole point.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
God.
Again, I'm not interested. See, that's like the Muslim type of cope. It's boring.
Okay,
Use your brain.
fine.
Yaakov, you're a smart guy. You're a smart guy. God gave you a brain. Use the damn thing.
I am within the
No, you're
frame.
not. You're not. You're just deflecting
Okay,
yourself
fine.
with nonsense.
Okay, that's right. That's
Okay, that is a
offensive.
grammatical distinction. How you cope with it is up to you, but that is a grammatical distinction. Now, with that
Made
grammatical,
by God. So who am I to question the
okay,
grammatical
but you
distinction,
are
as you
questioning
call
it
it?
because you're going against it.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're saying that there is no distinction.
It's it's two different ways to describe the same thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. There is a
You yourself said the word distinction means it's separate, not the
no.
same, not
I don't
similar.
believe in that. I
You
don't
use
believe
the word
distinction.
distinction, so that means clearly A and B are different. They're not equal. They're
Distinction does
different.
not entail separation.
Well, it entails difference.
Right.
Correct.
In programming language, A equals B, not A open bracket, sir, less than and greater sign B, which is not
Yeah,
equal to
but
B.
A and B are both coexistent in Y. Therefore, they're not separate. Yet they are distinct.
Then don't use the word
Oh no
distinct.
no no no. A and B are definitely separate. That's ridiculous what you just said.
Your argument is that distinction necessarily
No,
means.
it's a distinction, and it talks about the same person. It's just
But
we
okay,
believe it's the word of God.
I know what you guys believe. I don't care what you believe. I care
You
about
you
Even
why.
have
before
it's
rabbinic
legitimate
Judaism,
for
this is
you
like,
to ask this
I
question.
understand that. Okay, this is exactly like a Muslim saying, "I
What's not
believe that
legitimate?
Allah is the
No,
truth." But okay, I understand what you believe. What I'm telling you is, it's very unconvincing,
we're not
fine,
and I'm
making
okay,
telling
the
you
then
why.
don't
argument
be
that you say.
convinced. We're not here to convince you, okay?
Oh, well, I'm here to convince myself. I'm in pursuit
Exactly.
of the
So
truth.
you're
So,
convinced, so job is done.
but if you're in
Don't
pursuit of
try
the
to like
truth,
win
you
us
would.
over to your point of view,
But
okay?
then, how do you hold beliefs when you yourself are not convicted?
Damn.
I'm
That's
convinced
You're
not the
just a
case.
nonsense Islam.
Also,
Yeah,
like
my
because
beliefs
we
are
have
based on my
faith and the
convictions.
faith says that this is the word of God.
Okay, but
So there's certain things.
my faith is self-evident, and
we
my faith
believe in
is conviction.
relentless reflection,
I understand what you believe. I don't care about it.
relentless
I believe what.
learning, relentless inquiry. You
Okay, this is
want things to be settled.
you,
I get
okay.
it.
You can
That's
make that
you.
claim, but you're not demonstrating it.
Sure we are.
No, you're not. You're
Sure
not
we
coming.
are.
Okay, then do an inquiry, please, as you claim you do, and tell us about how there is no grammatical distinction, and tell us also how distinction must entail separation, because that then must mean that you should believe in two different gods,
No,
according to Torah.
this is not two different gods.
But then how so? Because they're distinct, and you believe distinction entails
No,
separation.
no, I don't. They're just two
Oh my
separate
God.
ways of describing the same thing. You seem to be putting a bigger
How are they two
wedge
separate
between them.
ways? How are they two separate ways to describe the same
Come
thing
up to
when
God.
it clearly is not the same thing, since they have different characteristics, such as God has no form, but that
It just
Adonai
the
has a
first time just
form.
says come up to God. It doesn't talk anything about his form. The second time you see
It
where he
doesn't
has
say
some
no,
form
no,
of
but it doesn't say, but it does not say that.
yes,
It says he Hashem told him come up to
right.
Adonai. Then Adonai tells him, come up to me. This is the same Adonai which visited Abraham in Genesis chapter 18
Well, he
in the
This
form
is
wasn't
of a bird.
Adonai. He was
hilarious.
shot. He
If
was
you
El
think that's
Shaddai
two
then.
different
No, he
people,
wasn't. He
that's
wasn't
just
Adonai.
hilarious.
He
Can you go
became.
to Genesis chapter 18 and
Hold
see
on.
how
Hold on. Hold on.
Adonai, quote unquote, is a
He
human?
became Adonai after Moses. He was El Shaddai before the Moses. Okay, so El
Okay,
Adonai
what's
did
the
not
first book
come
you have? What's the
to
first book you have?
what?
What's the first book in the Mikra that you have?
Come on, you know the answer to this.
Genesis.
Yes,
Who wrote Genesis?
God.
Oh, okay, under the authorship of Moses. So
Yeah, he
going
described
before
it letter
Moses,
by letter to
that again, that's
Moses.
not an argument. Saying before Moses it's Al Shaddai, after Moses, okay, that's irrelevant and it's
No,
not
it's literally
substantiated.
in the Torah. It says, "You now call me Adonai." Before that, I was called El Shaddai. I believe
Okay,
that's the line.
okay, fine. Okay, that's totally fine. It still doesn't change anything because if God is telling you you call me Adonai, then why is a man called Adonai according to Genesis chapter 18 and 19?
Doesn't say a man.
Of course, it says it's a man. Can you read Genesis chapter 18? See how three men came to Abraham and how he sat and ate and drank under the tree with them to prove their physicality. Yet one of them actually tells Sarai what's in her heart, but he also gives her the promise of a child that is Isaac. Then the three men were on the way to Sodom. However, they went to Sodom, but Abraham remained before the Lord, which is why two men arrive in Sodom, not three, because the third one is the Lord that remained with Abraham. You can check that, Genesis
But it
chapter 8.
doesn't say that though. You made that up.
No, I didn't make that up.
It,
Genesis chapter
it
18, verse.
doesn't say the two men
So
left.
can you go
You
and
said that.
so can you go check Genesis chapter
I
18?
did. We had this exact conversation. That's why
So
I'm
can you
saying
check
that.
Genesis chapter 18, verse
It
22?
does it say the two men
So can
went?
you check it?
Okay, you don't have to answer. But you know
Genesis
what I'm
chapter
like.
18, verse 22, and
Does it
Genesis
say
chapter
the
19.
two men left?
Yes,
No.
it says the
It
men
does
left, which are.
not say the two men left. It says the men left.
Can you check Genesis chapter 18, verse 22?
I did. We did this already, and I remember
Look,
it.
Good.
look,
I
It
mean, there's
doesn't
no
say the
look.
conversation.
It's
two
not
men left.
God. They're
If you're
It
not gonna
says
check,
that.
angels.
go
Listen,
on mute.
they're
I checked
angels,
it
divine
already. We did
messengers,
this
or
If
some
you're not
together.
gonna check
manifestation
it,
of
please go
God,
on
but
mute.
not God
I did
Himself.
check it.
Okay, if you're not gonna check it, please go on mute, dude.
I did check it. It says the men, not two men. And you know
Yeah,
this
it says
because we did it together.
yes, it says, oh my God, what a retard. It says Genesis chapter 18, verse 20, which is why I'm inviting you to check it. Genesis
Uh
chapter
huh.
18, verse 22 says, the men went to Sodom, but
That's what I
Abraham
just
remained
said.
with the Lord. Genesis 19, verse 1 says, two men arrived in Sodom. Read the damn thing.
So now
That's
you
what I'm
want to
Look,
put
the
inviting.
three
That's
together.
men
why
were
I'm telling you, if
angels.
you're
There
not
were
going to check
Michael,
it, please mute
Gabriel, and
up.
Raphael.
I
Huh?
didn't hear you, Yaakov. Say it again.
The three men, quote, are angels. Michael,
Correct.
Gabriel, and Raphael.
Yeah, I know that's what your rabbis say, which is so retarded. Yet, regardless,
Well,
Michael
that's
is
our
one called
understanding.
That's
Adonai,
Midrash, Bereshit, Rabbah
which is
50, colon 2.
again. Justify that. Don't just say it. Justify the damn thing. Why is it that only two men arrived, not three?
No, look, it says, and the
I,
Lord
I
appeared
don't
to him,
care
and he
what it
lifted up his
says.
eyes and looked, and behold, three men stood by him.
Oh my God, that's in the beginning. I'm telling you to correct. These are three men that arrived. Now
Well,
your
you
rabbis
made up
claim
your explanation of what that means.
that's not very constructive. Your rabbis say that these three men are three angels. Now, what I'm telling you is they're not three angels. They're the Lord Himself and two angels. That's what Moses is telling you. If you read Genesis chapter 18, verse 22 and 19, verse 1, you can 100% without an inch of doubt come to that conclusion. So, your rabbis are going against Moses. Now, I follow the Torah. Your oral tradition cannot contradict the written tradition. If it contradicts it, your tradition is wrong. So I understand your Talmud tells you, Rashi says, although Rashi jumps over it conveniently. However, Rashi and the Talmud tells you that no, these are three angels. I understand that's what they say. Now justify it. I can write a better Talmud than Rashi. So I'm not really
When you
interested in,
publish it, let me know. I'll buy the first copy.
well, I'm just giving it to you. I can destroy Rashi so easy. Rashi contradicts himself in Sanhedrin. It doesn't matter. Because he goes against the consensus with Isaiah 53, but he goes against himself by going against it, which is absurd. Regardless, I'm just telling you. Genesis chapter 18, verse 22 tells you the men, which are three, the men went to Sodom, but Abraham remained before the Lord. Chapter 19, verse 1. Two men arrived. The third didn't yet, because he is with Abraham. He is the Lord. This is Torah. Okay. So then Genesis chapter 19, verse 24. That's when that third man that is called Adonai arrives. And he does what? Genesis chapter 19, verse 24. The Lord rained fire and brimstone
No,
on Sodom and Gomorrah
Michael was the one
from
who
the Lord in the heavens. Another duality. In the Torah, you can see a very clear
the
duality.
third visitor who did not go to Sodom. Yeah,
But that's, I understand that that's what you claim. Dude, I don't need to keep repeating. That's a claim.
fine.
Now, where's the justification? I'm not interested in the Muslim shit. It is a claim that that is Michael. That's all it is. Okay, I'm claiming that I am God Himself. Now what?
My wife's
Exactly.
my
No,
wife's
well, you're gonna tell me prove it. That's what you're gonna tell me. If I'm telling you I am the Mashiach, now you're gonna tell me prove it. Did you fulfill all the things? Okay, exactly. So anyone can claim anything. Now you're saying this is Michael. Prove it. Don't just say it. You can't. Your rabbis can't. So I
that's
know you
from the
can.
Midrash
From the
and from
Midrash. Prove.
Rashi.
Yeah, prove it. Go ahead. Rashi can't prove it. The Midrash can't prove it.
Fine. Okay, we're gonna go in circles forever. Okay,
No, we're not. It's simply
you
about the
can't
fact that
prove
you can.
that it was God.
Okay, fine. Then I am the Messiah. And I want you from now on to acknowledge that. And don't ask me to prove it.
I'm not
I am
asking you. You
making that
if you
claim, therefore it must be
okay,
true.
fine. You
Right.
show that's fine. You're Moshiach. World peace comes and all the Jews in
Okay.
gather
No,
and you
no, don't say
rebuild the
that. No, no, no,
temple.
no, no, don't say that. Now you're entering the realm of proof. Don't
No,
say
you
that.
said prove it. You just said prove it.
No,
So I said
I'm
I
saying
will
don't ask me.
acknowledge your messianic
I'm saying
authority
don't ask
once
me to
you
prove it.
you do things the
Yaakov, I'm
Messiah is
saying
supposed to
don't
do.
ask me to prove it.
I'm not.
Because you don't want to prove or question your beliefs. You accept them at face value. You accept the claim for what it is. Likewise, I am giving you
When
a claim
people
and I want
far
you to.
more learned than me make the arguments like Rashi did and
I
our
destroy Rashi.
midrash, fine, okay, just
I destroy Rashi. It's so easy to destroy
okay,
him. He
good.
conveniently jumps over it. Rashi conveniently jumps over 1822 and 19:1. He doesn't mention it at all. He just simply tells you that this is the Archangel Michael. Based on what? Nothing. Okay, can you reconcile your words with the
Based on the
Torah?
midrash.
So what about the Torah though? I go based on Torah, not based on so-called midrash when it contradicts
Torah
Torah.
doesn't say this was Michael.
It
Torah
does not say that.
it
No, it
doesn't
says it's
say
the
this
Lord.
was God.
It says it's God. 1822, 19:1. It clearly says it is God. Two men arrived, not three, because the third one remained with Abraham. Very clear. It does not get
Right.
clearer.
Gabriel and Raphael are the ones who
There's no Gabriel or Raphael or Michael.
okay, fine.
That is not from the Torah. That you're coming with these things from somewhere else, and it is totally left unjustified. Exactly like me telling you I am God Himself. Don't question it, accept it. This is your mindset basically. You're not questioning. So a normal comes on the stage and says we inquiry, but you're not inquiring. You're not making the most basic level of inquiry. You're just like a Muslim,
Okay.
right? So until you guys can actually prove that, so that's a duality in the Torah throughout. In the book of Genesis and Exodus, there's a duality of in the personhood of God that is very clear, undeniable. That's why Jews in the Second Temple period actually believed that. Moses himself believed it. That's what I'm telling you. Now then came the rabbis who changed the whole thing. They changed it. Rashi is one of them. I'm pretty sure you know that he went against the consensus, right? But he didn't even get excommunicated since there's no Sanhedrin, right? That's fact. That is a fact. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Frankie, how are you doing?
I don't see God.
I'm brushing my teeth. 1 second.
Yaakov, you will see what you want to see. And I remind you, the prophet Isaiah said, they will see, but they will not
And he
perceive.
looked up in his eyes, and lo, 3 men stood over him. Not God, 3 men, the angels.
That's not true. That's not what it says. It says God appeared to him, and in that appearance were 3 men.
All right.
So there's
3
only 4.
men, right.
Right, so
So
there's
God
4 options.
appeared to him, God went away, 3
So
men.
there's 4 okay, Moses, I know you believe Moses was retarded, but he wasn't this
I didn't
retarded.
say, he had a lisp, he had a stutter, he wasn't retarded.
That's not a retarded claim. That is baseless. He was not charismatic. That doesn't mean he had a lisp. That's from the Talmud. That's like zero basis.
No,
Regardless,
it's
there's 4 options. Either God is separate from these 3 men,
yeah.
or God is one of these 3 men, or he's 2 of them, or he's 3 of them. These are the only 4 possible options. If you keep reading, you will find out that he's one of them.
Nope.
By the token that I told you, Adonai is referred to as that man who remained with Abraham, hence only 2 arrived. You cannot separate the text from itself. That's why I'm referring you to even the verse, Genesis 18:22 and 19:1. If you read them simultaneously, you'll understand it so easy. Like the only reason you don't understand it is because you don't want to. I love you like my child, Yaakov, but you have to know, Rabbi knows the Torah inside out. I'm not a Jew. I actually know the Torah and I actually believe in it, and I'm willing to kill for it also.
Please don't be condescending then.
I'm not
People have
condescending.
different points of view, okay?
There's no points of view. There's someone who rejects God and rebels against him. And there's one who stays true to his word in his Torah. There's no different points of view. That's not a thing. There's no points of view. God made it so clear so that you do not get to have a point of view. You either get to accept him or reject him. That's what I'm telling you. So, for example, if you keep going, Genesis chapter 19, verse 26 it was, or 29, one of them, shows you how Lot was a righteous man. Now, your rabbis tell you, no, that's not the case. They tell you Lot is not righteous. Directly going against the Torah, when it literally tells you, God remembered Abraham because he made a promise to Abraham that he's not going to destroy it as long as righteous people are in it. Therefore, he took Lot out of the midst of that land during the destruction, since Lot is righteous. Okay, your rabbis tell you that he's not. So which one is a liar? Is it Moses or is it the rabbis? I go by Moses, not the rabbis. That's what I'm telling you.
And I
That's
have a
Genesis.
question to Yaakov too.
That's Genesis chapter 19, either verse 26 or 29. It's one of them.
Yaakov, do you believe what everything is in the Torah?
Yes,
Do you hold to it?
as best I can. I'm not perfect.
So if someone don't hold Shabbat, do you kill him?
Well, there's a lot of you don't like. First off, he has to be warned. There has to be witnesses to it. The criteria with which you get it's like what's the name of the wayward son? Sorry, my brain. Aphasia. There's a Ben Sora Mora. Ben Sora Mora. You're supposed to the 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 criteria with which you kill Ben Sora Mora is just so crazy, and the same thing happens. I don't think one person was killed for working on Shabbos.
I don't know about that,
I'm not
but
saying ancient times.
look, we should agree we don't do it, but we can agree. Do you agree with me that the Torah said if someone don't hold Shabbat, we
Correct,
should kill
but
him?
then the oral Torah gives out
Oh my God,
the
no oral Torah.
requirements.
Okay, you cannot go against the written Torah, which we have evidence and claim for. You cannot go
No, but
against it
there's a
by adopting an
criteria. There's the
imaginary oral
fine.
Torah.
Okay,
You
we're going to
cannot do
be
that.
stuck in this loop, and I'm not playing this game
We're not
anymore.
stuck
So,
in any loop. God is making it very clear to you that you need to teach this to the peoples. That is the Torah. You do not get to
and
contradict the Torah.
he also told Moses, you need to teach the laws, which are the oral Torah, to the
That
people.
it does not say the laws are not oral Torah. That's written.
It's
That's not
not.
Yes,
oral
I
Torah.
told you the interpretation of that already, and
That's
you
not. There's no
rejected it. You
interpretation.
rejected it. Look, I can't have this debate if you reject our interpretation. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's literally what a debate is. I'm attacking your presuppositions.
Fine. Okay.
It's
Fine.
a very weak presupposition.
Okay,
That's exactly what I am gonna attack.
fine.
And you would have to actually justify it. You can't just simply adopt it or force its
The
adoption when
words are
it.
clear.
What I'm telling you is, it
What is
cannot be an
stronger? Wait,
oral
wait, Rabbi.
Torah.
What is
It cannot
stronger?
be an oral
So,
Torah if it contradicts the written Torah.
yes. So,
It's
what is stronger?
supplementary. It doesn't contradict.
Yes, it does
It
contradict
gives
It
the
it.
does.
laws with which how you go about doing
So it
things.
doesn't contradict it when it tells you Lot is not righteous.
It doesn't even. I don't even think it talks about. I'm not an expert on Lot
Of
and
course it does.
and
There's a
Talmud.
million ways where the Talmud contradicts Torah in many different ways. Whether it be the Mishnah or even the Gemara, it doesn't matter. It contradicts the Torah. Like that example that I gave you, Lot being righteous. Another example is the duality of God in the Torah. 100% without doubt. Like, for example, when it creates and manufactures things just to cope with reality as found in the Torah, then it becomes not something that complements Torah, but rather something that opposes it.
Do you think? Do
Your
you think?
tradition,
Sorry.
your tradition is a satanic tradition that goes against the Torah. That's
Fuck
what I'm
you.
talking.
Just stop it. That's just. Don't even. Don't even. That's just ridiculous. Okay. Now
No,
you've
that's
you
what I
reached a
believe.
level of like just.
Do
The
you
thing
No,
think?
no, no.
is, Yaakov,
I do believe your tradition
he's not
goes against
actually
the
being
Torah.
ridiculous when he says this. For instance, go to Exodus 22, 23. It gives a bunch of like statements about how one should be kind to a stranger, one should be not steal, one should not harm another. You shall be just to the strangers amongst you, for you too were once a stranger in Egypt. But then you have the oral Torah. What does it say? Baba Kama 113a. I think it's that you can basically steal, rob, cheat the Gentiles amongst you, because they're not Jews.
And
This
fuck little
completely
boys
contradicts
and fuck
the
and
Torah,
fuck
dude.
animals. If you're a little boy, you can fuck an animal because you're a little boy. You're not bound by halakha. Based on what? In the Torah, it says very clearly, you cannot fuck children.
I
You
don't mind
cannot
if
fuck
you have
animals.
differences. Just don't call me satanic, okay? Like,
You are influenced by a satanic philosophy and theology, which
okay,
goes against the Torah.
okay, I am. I admit it,
If look,
100%.
dude, if there's
Uh,
anything I tell you that is
I am
opposed
in
to
such
Torah,
excruciating back pain right now.
No, but Rabbi. If he is getting like, let's try to stop using this word and
oh,
and bring the argument.
you're commanded
No,
to speak the
but
truth, and the truth
Frankie,
is
it's not
everything
even
that counters the Torah is satanic.
yes.
Everything
Yeah,
that goes
I
against the
can agree
Torah.
on that. I can agree on that. And this is my problem. Like I would say, like even anything oral could be true, yes, but anything oral could not be as true as something written.
But the so-called oral tradition, which has zero bearing, zero evidence for it actually being an oral Torah, for that to take precedent over the written actual Torah, that is bewildering, and
Yeah,
definitely that is demonic influence. Now, I'm not saying you're a horrible person, Yaakov, but what I am saying is that the truth is the truth, and I will always proclaim it. That anything that goes against the Torah is satanic, and all I'm telling you is follow the Torah. That's all I'm saying. How is that evil? Like if I tell you to not follow Torah, okay, I would understand why you would call me evil or why you would think that what I'm saying is evil. But what I'm saying is stick to Torah. How is that evil? I believe your tradition not only differs from Torah, it contradicts it and opposes it. Therefore, it is satanic. That's what I'm saying. And I just gave you two examples. There's a million others. Bishop gave you another example of theft. Oh, I give you another example of, like, for example, fucking little boys. And if you're a little boy, you can fuck an animal because you're not bound by halakha. Based on what? Based on what do you get the understanding that you have to be under 3 for you to no longer be bound by halakha if you're a woman, or if you're a boy, either 3 or 9? Based on what? That's not in the Torah. That's based on a so-called oral Torah.
there's also lots of places you have to take the Talmud in its entirety, not just cherry pick.
I do that.
H.
I
It's
do that.
clear, like I would say,
But the issue
40
is
Kiddushin 40a says that Jews must conduct themselves with
Kid, Kid,
honesty and integrity,
okay, but
which
Uh-huh.
Kiddushin
is a Kiddush.
40a also
Yeah,
talks about how study of the Talmud takes precedent over study of the Torah. Like, you see the issues here, like
When
um,
Moses told you teach this,
hmm?
he didn't tell you to teach the Talmud, which came after. He told you to teach this. Now you assume with zero ground. You assume
that's
that
the
oral
the structure of
tradition was
learning is
given to you
learn
by
the
Moses. Then
Torah.
why didn't he write the damn thing? Why didn't he write the damn thing? Why is Moses so? Is he lazy?
He
Oh,
was
but
told
you say
not
God
to.
wrote
He
it,
was
not
told
Moses.
not
No,
If
to.
and
God wrote it, then why didn't God write the oral tradition in that
no,
written tradition?
and the proof in
What
the
kind of God is
pudding,
that?
the proof in the pudding is that okay, why don't Karaite Jews hold the Talmud with the same authority? Why don't they hold the
But,
Mishnah with the same authority that you guys do?
I don't know. I don't have
but
to.
the Karaites
I
are
don't
actually they're
justify
smart.
how they think. I don't justify how you guys think. I justify how I think. So like that's their deal. Like you do you, I'll do me. Like
No, the
Karaite Jews
Karaites
will
are
do.
far ahead of you, though.
uh,
There's a
or
reason why the
behind depends
Karaites
your
don't
point of
accept the
view.
Talmud.
No, you think it's a good. You could take a position. It's a good thing. It's a neutral thing. It's a bad thing. Like I'm not going to cast judgment on them. That's not for me. That's for God. Okay,
You
I don't
no, no,
cast
that's not
judgment
true.
on
That's not true. See,
anybody.
that's so what you are
That's not what
adopting
God
right
told
now.
you though. In the Torah,
Yaakov,
God
what you're
says that you should
adopting
hold
right
those
now
amongst
is a
you with
Protestant
I am
philosophy.
not. Me personally, I am not casting judgment on anybody. Okay,
But that's not judgment. See, that's what I'm telling you.
just saying
You're
they're right or
adopting
wrong. Like
you're
that's saying I
okay.
know more. They're wrong. I'm
Yaakov, you're
right.
unknowingly adopting a Protestant position. That's what you're doing. You're unknowingly adopting a Protestant position, which
I don't know.
thinks that all forms of judgment are the judgment that is for judgment is for God in the end of times. I do get to judge whether you're on the right track or not.
Fine,
Hence,
judge
God
away. I'm
commanded
just telling
you.
you my personal point of view. Nothing more. I'm
But
not
I don't care about
ascribing
your
it to
point
all
of
of
view, man.
Judaism.
I care about God's
I
point
said
of view.
I.
Okay, but I care about God's point of view, not about the point of view of
Fine,
man.
good.
And
I'm
God
in
made
so
it
much
clear.
pain right now. Let's just
But
stop
Yaakov, to be
this.
fair, it's not possible to have opinions on religion. Do you understand what I mean? It's either
Nothing.
or. The
I.
religion is a clear cut. Do you understand?
It
Like
is clear.
if I
This is
tell you
my
my
personal.
opinion and
This
another
is
person
how
tells his
I chose
opinion,
to. This is
it,
how I
it
chose
will
to
be
live
a
my
new
life.
religion. It will no
I'm
longer
not
be
making a
that
new
religion.
religion. This is how
He
I.
says what? This
I'm
is how you
sorry.
chose what, Yaakov?
Nothing. I need to go. I am in so much pain right now. I hurt my
Are you
lower
saying this is
back.
how you choose to apply it or follow it?
No, this is like my own personal point of view based on all the things that I've learned to date, and I'm not
And
gonna.
that's fine, dude. I'm not even you get to I have my own point of views on certain things. So you have
Yeah,
you have the right to have your own point of view, but what I'm telling you is that that's not what's important. What's important is what is God's point of view. And you should align your will with his will, right? That's what Jacob did. That's what it said when he wrestled with
I,
God. He aligned his will with the will of God. That's what it means to wrestle with God because it's not an easy thing to do.
no,
So it's God's will that is important, not my will. And my will only is important when it's in line with his.
Let it be
So
thy will that is done, and not my own.
correct, exactly. So 100%. So, but if God's will is contradicted by what I claim to be God's will, like, do you see how horrible that is? Now, it's exactly like the Muslim when he comes to you with a pagan God and he claims that this God is the God of Abraham, but that's not the God of Abraham. Likewise, my critique to your rabbis is that they teach doctrines of men as if they're commandments of God. That's what they do when they can actually refer to the Torah and see how that's not the case. But they don't read Torah. They would rather go read Talmud if they read, which most of them don't,
do both.
But why do they follow the Talmud rather than following the Torah? I never understood that.
by design. That's my issue.
They
I mean,
don't
I have
ignore.
nothing
Like
against it.
you guys make it sound like they ignore the Torah. The Talmud
They
just
do.
helps
They, in
interpret the
effect,
Torah.
they do,
Fine, okay,
Yaakov.
fine,
In
okay.
effect,
I don't have
what
the
it's
energy for
actually
this.
worse. I'd actually prefer if they ignored it altogether. What
Okay,
the
fine.
rabbis do, to be honest, is that they distort it so that they can basically get their own whims and desires from an intentional misreading of the text. So,
You
like
have
for
to understand,
No
instance,
one's
Yaakov.
intentionally. You're
We have a
ascribing
different
these like
relationship.
really. Whatever. I don't have the energy for this.
We have a different relationship with the text.
yeah,
So
Yeah, sure,
okay,
fine.
I read the text and I come to the if with a healthy understanding and with a healthy mind, I come to an understanding that matches the understanding of the church. It's not true because the church said it. The church said it because it's true. So, but that doesn't mean I just accept whatever the
Yeah,
church says as truth. No, but you will find the truth, and then you compare it with the church's findings, and you will find it is indeed
there are
actually.
places where you need the oral tradition to understand the
I
text.
have an
No,
oral tradition. I'll go to the
we
Torah,
don't reject the idea of having a
and that's a code.
tradition. The issue is that the tradition that you guys have goes fundamentally against the spirit of the text. Take, for instance, the example I gave with Baba Kama 113a. Why do the rabbis have this opinion? Well, because for them, if I leave my wallet on your car filled with money and you take it, oh, Baruch Hashem, God has blessed me. It's not theft. Any rational person would say this is insane. This is absolutely theft. But how the rabbis just sort of, no, this isn't theft. God is blessing you with my wallet. God is blessing you with my car. God is blessing you with my property.
Where were you
You
reading
see
from?
the
Were you
conundrum here.
113? Were
Yeah.
you 113b? Where were you?
This is Baba Kama 113a, I think. I'll go back and look when I'm done with my walk on the exact verse where it talks about
It's so
this.
easy to destroy them. I'm just telling you, the Jewish positions are weaker than the Muslim positions, which are even weaker
No,
than the Protestant
just
positions. It's not a matter of
look
opinion.
at
It's a matter of
Rashi's
like
Rashi's.
you have a belief. Can you
Does
ground it in
it's
something?
not a blanket permission to steal.
Yes, it is.
Later
What about?
halakhic
Yes, it is.
codifications reject any leniency
What about your
towards.
belief that the children are not bound by the halakha? Therefore, if I fuck them, it's okay because they're not sinning. Therefore, neither am I.
Their sins fall on their parents till they're of age to understand their sins.
Yeah, that's another heresy. The sin is not inherited.
It's not. It's not inherited.
Then their sin does not neither inherited positively nor negatively in terms of time flow. The
Um,
child, he doesn't suffer for his parents' sins. Neither do the parents suffer for the child's sins.
Exactly.
That's
Now,
not a fair.
I didn't
here's
say
the thing.
That's what I'm
suffer.
telling you. That's
I didn't
satanic.
say suffer.
No, but here's the thing, right?
Well,
God
you
I need to
understands.
go,
Okay,
guys.
no worries.
So much pain.
No problem. Take care.
Take care. Hurt my back this morning.
No problem. God bless. Take care.
Thank you very much. Just,
That's amazing.
it's amazing. Just don't call me satanic, please, next time. It's just a
But
line you
that
really
is
should.
satanic.
No, just you may disagree with it, but it's not from. First of all, we don't
It
have
is
it. So
twisting the God of Abraham, turning him into something
it's
that he's
amazing
not.
I'm
how much
asking
they
you
disregard
politely in
the
conversation to not use use that phraseology
Yeah,
that
Okay,
is very
Yaakov.
by
different
that same
views,
token,
please.
Yaakov,
I
I'm
hope
politely.
that we respect each other enough
I
to.
respect you,
but
but by
Jacob,
that same
you have to
token, oh
understand
my
that
God, hold on. I respect you, but by that same token, then I would actually demand that you don't twist and change who the God of Abraham is.
yes, I agree. And Jacob, you have to understand
Goodbye.
that you just said that having intercourse with that child would
I did
be
not
a
say
curse.
anything. I did not
No,
say
would be curse
anything
on the
about.
parent, and you would
No,
not
I did not say
have to
curse. No,
face any sins.
no,
So
I
what
did
do
not
That
say
is
that. I did
by
look.
definition satanic.
so
It
I
Yaakov,
did
what do
is.
you
not
mean by
say
that?
that. I did
What do you mean
not
by that?
say that at all. And I can't
So can you
finish this now,
clarify?
but I did not say that.
Can you clarify what you
Goodbye.
said
No,
and what you
not
meant?
right now. Not right now.
Well, but then how do we know what you? I mean, then based on what do you want me not to
The
call it
rest-
satanic?
the parent is responsible for the child. Okay? Parent should not let the child get into a situation where that occurs.
Okay,
Okay?
but not everything is in the hands of the parents. So let's say there's a child who ran away from home, and that child is, it's a boy, and he's 6 years old. I get to fuck him, and I'm not sinning because he isn't sinning because
Okay,
he is not bound by the halakha according to the rabbis. This is
You
satanic.
are bound by it. And
No. I'm not. But yes, I am bound by it. But since he isn't, therefore neither am I in that instant.
there's not like only if both people give permission are you not sinning. That doesn't it doesn't work that
It's
way.
not permission. It's simply about the fact that if he isn't sinning, neither am I.
Okay. Okay. Well,
That's what the
I agree.
rabbis say.
Okay. Goodbye.
Amazing. It's
I'm
just like there's
very
no.
amazing. No, it doesn't work that
I believe that to be
Yeah,
satanic.
like a rabbi, but he's a good guy. I know what you mean.
Only God is good.
True, wallah, true, true.
Only
I
God
cannot
is.
go against. I cannot go against this. This is.
Okay,
This
so
is
you're telling me not to call a satanic path satanic. Well, then in that
no,
case, and
no,
you're saying
no,
it's
no,
only respectful if I don't call your satanic shit satanic.
no,
In
no,
that,
no.
by
I
that same
mean,
token, it's only respectful if you don't change
motherfucker,
the
you didn't
nature of the God
understand.
of
You didn't
Abraham and turn him
understand.
into something that he isn't.
No, motherfucker, you are on the right path. But the thing is, he thought you are calling him satanic. The
I'm
belief.
responsible for what I say, not what people
No,
understand.
listen. The belief that he's holding to. This is what you mean. It is satanic, but you don't mean that what he believes in.
I clearly said it is satanic. He is guided by satanic theology.
Yes, but he, from his perspective, he's
His
not satanic.
perspective is his own.
Ah,
I'm responsible for what I say, not for what he understands. Now, he is adhering, yeah, he is sticking to satanic beliefs. If he doesn't like them being called satanic, likewise, I don't like him changing who God is. I don't like him claiming that God is all merciful and just, yet at the same time claim that God punishes children through their parents and parents through their children, because that is neither merciful nor is it just. So which one is it? Okay, your belief goes against your alleged belief. That is
damn,
satanic. That's the demon of confusion right there. You don't want to be called that? Okay, then stop practicing it. It's that
damn,
simple.
damn,
Right?
simple,
It's really not complicated.
damn, bro.
How is
We
he unjust?
we had such a big room, and everyone left. You know,
Yeah, because I had to move them down because I don't have time for Yiddishkites. I don't
damn,
have time for the tap dance, dude. If I want to do that shit, I would sit with Muslims, ping in the Muslims. I don't need that. It's boring. It's gay. It's intellectually inferior and deficient.
And the Muslims have hotter women.
It's just so boring. And then you have El Normo, who I love like my child, but he's saying Judaism is all about inquiry. Okay,
bro.
but you
Normal is a
refuse to
retard.
make
I swear.
basic inquiry. You have a million presuppositions, and they're all baseless, and you refuse to actually critically think about all your presuppositions when I call them out. How is that inquiry?
But El Normo's an idiot. There's no intellectual discussion with El Normo about anything.
True, I agree on that. I really agree on that.
Then you invoke a verse that literally goes against your own beliefs. I mean, why would you do such a thing? Why would you do such a thing?
They don't care to understand or even know. That's how satanic their spirit is. It's all like an irrelevancy to them, you know?
I had a Jew who literally quoted Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31 through 34. And you know that one. It's about the
Yeah,
new covenant.
I know.
Okay. That's the worst thing you can do as a Jew. The worst thing you can do is quote that to a Christian. Why do you do that?
Because they're so disinterested in their religion, they don't even realize the ways their own contradicts them, you know?
Yes, but then exactly, but then it must follow that this person has zero clue what the text says. Otherwise, he wouldn't refer to it.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Because they're so disinterested, they don't know what the text says. So
Right.
they quote things that go against them. Yeah.
So if you don't know what the text says, then shut the fuck up and don't talk about it with conviction.
Damn,
It's crazy.
But they
damn,
must, because it's the text.
Huh. So retarded, man.
It's a
damn.
very warped form of like self brainwashing, you know? It's like, I remember I spoke to Biles' lawyer. He tried to say, was Isaiah 53? It's about the Jewish people. Because it's describing the suffering servant, and Israel is described as a servant. And I was like, dude, this is the most retarded exact word fallacy you can do for two reasons. One, I just need to find anyone else in the entirety of the Mikra that's called a servant of God, and then just say, okay, Isaiah 53 is about that person, right? But more worse than that, the context of Isaiah 53 is Isaiah 52. Isaiah 52 describes a being of otherworldly appearance and, doesn't look fully human, etc., etc. I asked him, "Are you or any other Jews about to sprout wings and start flying?" No. So how the fuck can Isaiah 53 be about you?
We know it's not about them. They refer to the previous chapters where it says it refers to the people as a suffering. See, the thing is, the people are suffering servants if they follow the suffering servant. So
Of
by making
course.
claim, they go against themselves. You know how Jesus said, "If you want to follow me, carry your cross and follow me." Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Not Genesis. Sorry, John chapter 15 tells you very clearly that if no servant is better than his master, if they come after me, they will come after you too. But all these things they do to you for my name's sake. So then you are called to be persecuted. Okay, so then you are to be a suffering servant. If you are going to follow the suffering servant, he
Of
suffered for a
course.
reason because he did the will of the Father. That's why he suffered. And if you do the will of the Father as you should, then that's what it means to follow the Son, to do the will of the Father, since he's his eternal cause. Then you will also suffer in like manner. So the people are the suffering servant because the Messiah is the suffering servant, which is why Rashi goes against himself. Rashi says that no, it is the people of it's the Israelites. It's not the Messiah who's the suffering servant. But in Sanhedrin, he says it is the Messiah.
Yeah.
And prior to him, they all said it is the Messiah. It is definitely the Messiah, because it says that suffering servant. It says what? I'm paraphrasing, but he suffered because of the lawlessness of my people, which are the.
That as well, yes.
So how is he my people, but he suffered because of the iniquities and the lawlessness of my
Yep.
people?
Very good question. Very good question.
Basic grammar. Again, like they assume that all the prophets are retarded in a grammatical sense.
But
But the thing is, Rabbi, you have to understand, these guys, they don't care. Because for them, and this is the true depths of the Satanism of their religion, they
but
know all this, dude. But
but could they
they
be?
realized it doesn't matter that they'll get destroyed by a Christian apologist or any knowledgeable Christian, right? Because the average Tom, Dick, and Harry in the street, they're not in these discussions. They don't care to research this. They're just going to assume that, oh, well, he's telling the truth because, well, this is his book. So he knows what's in it. And, well, if that's what he says, then that's it, you know?
Well, that's what I told. That's why I told Yaakov, I'm not a Jew. Like I actually read and believe in the Torah. I actually
Mm,
do believe.
Oh, hold
I
up.
I
You're
know,
not a
I
Jew,
know.
Rabbi?
I'm not a Jew. I believe I read Torah, dude. The Jews don't read Torah. I haven't met one who does.
No, I agree with you.
I put inside out. I'm not a Jew. I am a critical thinker. God gave me a brain, and I use it.
But
So
do you
I don't have
consider
a
yourself a
belief.
Jew?
I don't have baseless beliefs. That's not part of my paradigm. Every belief you have, you must be able to justify.
But do you consider yourself a Jew? I'm sorry, maybe you said it before.
No, no. I mean, I'm a true Jew. I'm a true remnant of Israel.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I do believe in the God of Israel, which is why I don't reject Messiah. I don't reject. I am a Jew because I don't reject the Jewish Messiah. I follow him.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. But I know
Wait,
that a lot of these people they are atheists, right? They don't believe in a God. That's why they can talk this way. You know, they make up their own beliefs, whatever fits them. So they
It's the
live.
natural conclusion of
Yeah.
Judaism. The
Mm.
Jews operate fundamentally on a paradigm that says that they can subvert,
Yep.
outwit, and in fact are even smarter than God. Now, by tautology, God is all powerful, all knowledgeable, blah, 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 blah. So a God that you can circumvent, outwit, outsmart, definitionally is no longer God.
correct.
So the natural conclusion of Judaism is atheism. And that's really it, you know?
It is
Exactly.
because it's against God, anyways, as according to all the prophets. Therefore, everything that goes against God is satanic. So I don't know why he has an issue with the use of the word satanic. He should be the one telling people you should follow Torah. Now you have someone who you call a goy telling you to follow Torah, and I evidently know it much more than he does. I know the Torah, respectfully, I know the Torah more than any Jew I ever met. Period. So, uh, how does it feel,
Yeah.
like as a Jewish guy? who doesn't even know basic Torah, that yet you see the so-called Goyim who know the Torah much more than you do, and they are much more in line with it than you, yet you still call yourself a Jew, and you still call them Goy. How does that make sense? Retarded.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I don't even think that they should be considered Jews if they don't follow the Torah, if they don't practice the religion, right?
Exactly.
And yeah.
Behold, I will make of the synagogue of Satan those who claim that they are Jews, but they are not, for they do lie. I'll make them come
Yep.
and worship before your feet, so that you will
Yes.
say that I have loved thee.
Exactly. That's right. Revelation chapter 3. Or is it chapter 1?
Chapter 3, verse 9.
Chapter 3, verse 9.
Drew, you're talking me Tovia Singer. That Isaiah 53 comment is a Tovia Singer argument, dude. Tovia
Rabbi Tovia
Singer
Singer,
doesn't know shit from fuck.
Rabbi Tovia Singer is so retarded, and he only talks to low-tier Protestants. Like, come talk to... You know Protestants aren't even Christian. Come talk to an actual Christian. Protestants, imagine that. This is like me saying, you know what? I disagree with Muslims. That's why I'm going to criticize the Hindus. Amazing. So funny. You know what? The Jews are wrong, so I'm gonna attack the Black Hebrew Israelites, and I'm gonna assume that the Black Hebrew Israelites are the Jews. This is what you do when you think that you destroyed me, when you destroy the Protestant. It's exactly like me saying I destroy the Black Hebrew Israelite. Therefore, the Jews are wrong.
Well, I'd like to hear Tovia argue against an Orthodox.
He never will. There's a woman on this app. I don't know if she's still there. Her name is Courtney. She's obviously heretical and she's a Protestant. Yet she is begging him to debate her and he won't. He only debates the super low tier people who converted like less than 2 days ago, and they're Protestants. They're not even, you know, those guys he likes to play with. I would challenge Rabbi Tovia Singer. I myself would challenge him.
I'd love that.
Yeah, I would destroy him so easy. He would never debate me. That's what I'm telling you. Never. He would never debate me. So, anyways,
Is there
that scam works.
what is
That
a
Rabbi Tovia Singer
I
scam works for a short time, but critical thinkers, see, we don't want everyone to, we want quality, not
well,
quantity. We're not
I like debates. So, do you recommend any good debates to watch on these matters?
Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer is amazing. Jay Dyer knows his shit.
How do you
And
spell dire?
Dyer. He's the best debater I've ever seen in my life, actually. Because he's like a master of philosophy. You need knowledge of philosophy to the best debaters are into philosophy. So the guy has a PhD in philosophy, is it? If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. But yeah, he knows how to debate, aside from the fact that he's very knowledgeable. Anyways, you don't even need that. You don't even need to go that far. I can give you checkmates in less than like 30 minutes and you'll never be able to recover. Not because I'm great, but it's because like the Jewish positions are that weak. They're very weak. They're just not. So again, like in this discussion, what they were doing is they were like a Muslim. They were relying on the. So you know how the Muslim says, "I believe Muhammad is a prophet and he is the final prophet, and Islam is the truth." Why? Because the Quran says it is. Okay, I believe in the Quran because of the Quran. That is circular reasoning. That is a logical fallacy. You lost the debate before it even began. The Jews do the same thing with the Talmud.
Well,
So
so how is believing in the Bible any better than that?
I don't believe in the Bible because the Bible.
So why do you believe in the Bible?
I
That's
don't
when
need.
philosophy comes in, dude.
I don't need the Bible.
I
At
We
don't
had
all?
understand.
we had a church for 400 years without a Bible.
You don't believe in the Bible at all?
I believe in the Bible, but I'm telling you, I don't believe in it because of it. We
Okay.
we gave you the Bible. The church gave you the Bible. 400 years without a Bible. They gave you the Bible. Therefore, my faith isn't based on a Bible. The Bible is a result and a product of my
Okay,
faith.
but why do you believe in the Bible? Why do you believe that the Bible is the truth?
That's when
Because
philosophy comes in, dude. With
because of
what the
ecumenical
church
council.
claims.
Say that.
Because Council of Nicaea, the first came with a decision that we need a canon, and hence Eusebius was supposed to come with it. Yet we know that Athanasius came with it, and then it was affirmed by the Council of Rome and Hippo and Carthage the First, Carthage the Second, and also Nicaea the Second. So it's a ecumenical council that acknowledged it, but also a multiple series of ecumenical councils reaffirming it. That's why I believe in it. I don't believe in it because of it. You see, that's what the Muslims claim. That's what the Jews claim. But again, it's just a claim. I'm not into that. If you believe something, you must believe it out of conviction. In other words, you need to be able to justify your position. I don't believe Jesus is the Messiah because I believe Jesus is the Messiah. That's not how it works. That's called the logical fallacy. Google it.
No,
Circular
no,
reason.
no. Fair point. Fair point.
You're literally beginning where you want to end.
So it could all be myth and make believe, is what you're saying.
Now, what I'm saying is that God gave you your brain so that you may use it. And you come to the truth by seeking it, not by insisting on it.
Johannes, do you disagree with a lot of Jews, unfortunately?
Wait, what's the question?
Do you disagree with that a lot of Jews don't follow the Torah?
No, I don't disagree with that, and I don't see a problem with that either.
Amazing, beautiful. No, I'm taking it further. I'm saying not a single Jew follows the Torah.
It's a
If you
huge,
are
Well,
a
I
it's
Jew,
a
don't see
huge
a problem.
problem.
What's the
that,
problem?
I'm telling you, if you're a Jew, that automatically disqualifies you.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Don't you wish less people followed Islam?
Non
The-
sequitur. That's non sequitur fact.
No. So why do you have a problem with Jews not following
That's
Torah?
irrelevant. That's literally, this is a red herring. You're opposing. So I'm telling you, unemployment is a real issue. And then you tell me, oh, but what about climate change?
No,
Okay,
I don't.
climate
I
change
don't
should be,
think
but
on.
we're talking about
I no.
unemployment.
I don't think it's an issue.
Of course you don't. That's
Okay,
why
that's
you're
fine.
Jew.
So
I'm
tell.
telling
So
you,
first.
but hold
So
up.
tell me.
Is it
So
not?
tell me. Tell me
Is it
why
not?
it's an issue.
that's a red herring that you
Why
don't
is it?
understand.
Why is it an issue to you?
Why is what an issue? The fact that you're using a
No,
red
no.
herring?
No. That he's saying, oh, that they don't. They're atheists or they don't believe.
Because if you don't follow Torah, you're not a Jew.
Okay. So why does that matter?
Because God told you if you don't follow Torah, you're not a Jew. In fact, Leviticus chapter 20, you are ordered to keep each other in check in obedience to Torah. Otherwise, I will do it for you, God says. In other words, I will bring calamities upon you, like World War II, Holocaust, and whatnot.
Okay, but then how do you? What about all the blessings that are brought upon these same atheists?
What blessings?
Well, what do
Name
you
them.
mean? What blessings? You can't simultaneously be cursed and rule the world and have own the banks
God
and
blesses whomever He desires, but
own the banks and all this stuff. I mean, which is it?
what's your question? God blesses
My
whomever He
question is:
desires.
there's many atheist Jews that are blessed.
God blesses whomever He desires. Now, in the end of the day, what counts as a blessing? Because when I look at the metrics, they're not doing good. Atheists are, in fact, doing worse than Muslims, who are doing horrible. Muslims are not doing good. Atheists are doing even worse in terms of income, in terms of education, in terms of marriages and lasting relationships, in terms of children, in terms of fulfillment.
Yeah,
They're not
but
doing.
that's because you just are belonging to a particular community or group. In that argument, the LGBTQ are doing really well.
LGBTQ are not doing well at all. If you look into the stats, they're not doing good. People who are obsessed with sexuality are not doing good. They're not productive. If we just go ahead and look at the data, you can all these things. U.S. Bureau of Statistics, you can find all these things. So again, what counts as a blessing? What is a blessing? Because again, one blessing means another curse, anyways. Have you been blessed with money? Well, you might consider that a blessing. What if I tell you it's a curse? A blessing is a curse by definition. That's what I'm saying. Because now, with money, what do you do with that money?
But being saved is a blessing no one knows if you ever get to reap, right?
Again, it's a blessing in a sense, it's a curse in another sense. Every blessing is a curse. That's what I'm telling you. You can say the Jews have been blessed with Torah, but they've been cursed by having to abide by it.
Yeah, but you're saying there's a blessing in believing and following Jesus, but you can't prove or show that's a blessing.
I'm saying the only blessing comes through God.
Well, but okay, so then what is the unique
I
blessing
mean, look,
that comes through Jesus?
now now we're gonna have to go back to making the distinction that uh, the only true blessing, the true blessing comes from God. I can bless you in your marriage with that chick called Latifa, whatever, but that's not a true blessing. True blessings come from God, but a blessing is a curse. For example, I've been blessed with a brain. Now that's also a curse because that brain power I have, how do I use it? Are you using it for good or bad? Oh, but do you have potential as a person? Well, what did you do with that potential? If you did it, so I can do less than you by doing so much more than you. In other words,
But you don't know where that brain came from.
doesn't matter where it came from. What matters
But you're
is it is
saying it all
what it
comes
is.
from God.
Yes, it does. My ability comes from God. For example, let's say like money. I have you have $100,000. I have $1 billion. Now I donated $200,000. You've donated $500,000. You donated more than I did. Although I gave 200K, you gave 50K or 500K. Sorry. Oh no, you have 100,000. So you donated 50K. I donated 200K. You still donated more than I did because you gave a
But who
larger
but but
portion.
who but who made the bigger impact with the
You.
donation?
It doesn't matter. It's not about impact. It's about intent. You know that from Torah. So you actually
But
donated
you're
more than I did,
assuming you're
even when I
assuming
donated more than you.
but the only problem with you is you're already giving relevancy and some unique stature to Torah.
No, I'm saying that God judges you based on intent.
No, no, but I'm saying who says Torah is special? Why is Torah special?
If you read it, you'll figure it out.
Hold up. Are you a Jew or not a Jew?
He's a half-baked Jew, half-baked whatever Protestant,
I'm a
whatever
half baked. I'm half baked.
evangelical type of
I'm a
dispensation.
half baked,
You cooked. You cooked
extra
as fuck.
loaded, extra
So
loaded.
wait, do you hold Torah?
You
Do you hold?
bake. You bake.
Hey, bro, do you hold Torah? You?
Do I hold Torah? Yeah, I've held Torah.
Okay. No, but you still hold Torah.
Sometimes.
Okay, then this is bad. Then you shouldn't talk about Torah because according to the Torah, if you don't hold the Shabbat, then you should be killed.
Yeah, but I don't believe in that like you do, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like a Muslim. I mean, this
No.
whole yeah, you're acting like a Muslim at this point.
Okay.
Why? I'm not
If
Abdullah.
if you don't mind me asking, why don't you believe in it?
But,
Because
well,
he doesn't know.
look, I think it could be beneficial, but I'm not like a Muslim where I
No, no,
feel
no. But
like
what you said you don't believe in it apparently. So why don't you
no,
believe in it?
no. I said, but why don't you believe it can be beneficial? But there's no way to prove whether that was a real revelation or not. It's that simple. It's not hard to understand why Jews
Of
don't
course you
believe in
can,
Torah.
because you experience it.
Do you believe in the New Testament?
That's why mysticism
The
is a
New
thing.
Testament is no different than the Old Testament or the Quran for that matter.
No, no, it's different because according to the New Testament, anything that become after it, according to Galatians chapter 1:8, if we send you a book from heaven with the angels, it's be cursed. And this is what the story about Islam is. So you cannot say this to us.
Yeah,
Everything is
but
based
you're
on
take
Torah.
No,
but you're
There's
no, no,
take
no, no,
Quran.
no. But we,
you're
Quran comes
take
out
but
of
you're
nowhere.
taking what's inside the book. This is the
Man,
same thing Rabbi just
no, we're not.
criticized.
no,
No,
we are
we're
not,
not.
You're
bro. This is
using the
such a
book
retard.
to
No, we're
No,
not.
you
Dude,
are
you can't use
ignorant.
my argument against me because
Yes,
I'm
I
the one who
can.
said it.
Boom.
No, you can't because I'm not doing that. I don't believe in the Old and New Testaments because I believe in the Old and New Testaments. That's not how it works. It's an experience that you have. Mysticism is a thing. It's an experience. So I verify the Old Testament through my experience in the New Testament. Likewise, the only reason I believe in the New Testament is the Old Testament. But how do you verify the Old Testament?
So then I
Well,
could
through my
so
experience
then
with
I
God.
can tell you I have that same experience without the Old or the New Testament.
You can have whatever experience
A
you want.
mystical
No one cares. No one
experience.
cares about your experience.
You want to have. You can
What
have
do you
whatever
mean? He
experience
just
you.
said the reason that it's legitimate is because of the
That's not what I
experience.
said.
No,
That's
this
The
is
what
what
I said that I can
the
you
verify.
don't want to
mystical
understand. He didn't
experience.
say that. He didn't say that.
Yes, he did.
He
No,
didn't.
I didn't. I said I can verify the old, but I believe in the new because of the old, and that's something Jews don't seem to be able to comprehend. If you believe in the Old Testament, it directly takes you to the New Testament. You cannot reject the New Testament if you believe in the Old. That's like a fact that they don't want to reconcile with because they never read the Old Testament to begin with. However, then, but what I experience is my experience comes under the New Covenant, made explicit in writing to you through the New Testament. But my experience is through the church, and that is an experience with God under that
And
covenant,
and
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 that experience allows me to validate the Old Testament. That doesn't mean that I rely on so anyone's experience in order to determine
and
anything, because
and
then
and
the Muslim can come to you and tells you that, oh, his experience is that the Quran is the truth. Okay, well then let's have a battle of experience, shall we?
oh yeah, but still, like Batman, the Dark Knight Rises connects with Batman Begins in the original Batman movie, and
That's not
they work
that's a
together.
false analogy.
This
That's
is
false.
so
Why
false.
is it? But why is the Torah itself valid book? You
That's
said,
a
oh,
that's a
you said you
nigga.
have
That's
to
a
read
false
it to
analogy, nigga.
experience it. That's what you said.
That's a
You,
false.
but you can't prove that the Torah itself is a holy book.
I literally told you through my experience in the church, but that's
Okay,
fine.
Through your
this is
experience. See, you go back to experience.
My experience through the church is different than simply experience, as I already clarified. Then any Muslim can come to you and tells you, "Oh, my experience is that the Quran is true." Well, okay, then let us have a debate on the matter. What is your experience? How is it in line with your teachings? First things first, before we even address mine. My experience is perfectly in line with my teachings. Is your experience in line with your teachings? Well, I'm gonna steal man your position by showing you how you're wrong from your own position. Can you do the same to me? Oh, you cannot. Okay, beautiful. Well, you already lost the debate.
damn.
Again, you having an experience that differs from mine doesn't mean that there is two different truths.
Yeah.
You can experience something differently. That still does not mean that it's a different
So
truth.
then maybe the truth that you have is subjective, not
No,
objective.
no,
That's the
no, no.
opposite of what I literally just said.
Bro, you are not listening. You don't want to listen.
He's a nigger.
But we have to also respect if he's an atheist, then that
Wait,
should be respected.
I have to give props to the rabbi of clearly displaying the art of dropping the N-bomb just then.
Yeah, it is truly an art. Well, that being a spiritual sodomite, or that's what makes you a nigger. That the fact that you're a slave to sin. It has nothing to do with skin color or race or any of that dumb shit. It has everything to do with your spiritual status. Take Abdullah Frankie, for example.
Abdali. He
Huh?
left. He left.
Who?
This guy. Nice to hear.
No.
Yeah. Why is he? But what is his problem? Why is he talking to you about the Torah if you don't even believe in it?
I don't know why he believes in Torah.
Abdullah,
No. I think there's great wisdom in Torah, and
do you think there is wisdom in the New Testament?
of course, and there's wisdom in the Quran, but that doesn't make them holy
I
books
cannot
or
hear you.
revelation.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm saying that doesn't make them holy or miraculous or
Do you think
revelation.
there is wisdom in the New Testament?
Sure. There's wisdom in comic books.
Well, what about
This is
nuts? Is
Abdullah
there
thinking.
wisdom in these nuts?
I
Maybe.
was about to say that actually.
You motherfucker, you are a simp. You kicked me
That
last time
that would depend on whose
I
mouth
kicked
nuts
you
are the.
because you're a faggot.
Oh,
because
child.
I fucked your mother and Isa's mother. Go down on my balls, ya habibi. Yalla.
Why do you do that to my friend Trash Bag?
Oh, I'm sorry, I will bring him up. But he shouldn't tell me faggot. He should behave, you know? If he suck a woman dick, then he should behave. I mean, I don't have anything against him, but my main problem is he
I
kicked me
did
for a
not
woman.
suck a woman's dick.
No, she have a dick.
Frankie, can you admit that this is a form of sodomy right now?
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's called an enlarged clitoris. Okay,
I
This
there's
mean,
a
is
difference.
literally a form of sodomy.
Rico confirmed it that she have a dick. So yeah.
I- I've encountered a huge clit before.
Now, you guys are a total waste of time, respectfully.
I swear. Do you know Abdullah Simsim? Be honest, guys. Do you know him?
Then why did you kick Edmund?
Who?
Motherfucker. Bro, buy internet, please.
Why did you kick who?
Why did you kick Edmund for saying that you're wasting your time if you agree that this is a waste of time?
I never waste my time. I could waste your time, but I myself never. Right now, I'm looking into the growth of equity investments and the total value, time value of money. Right now, I'm literally looking. Right now, right in front of me, I'm looking into
And I
the.
am studying, motherfucker. You are
Yeah,
wasting your time by talking to
I'm
us.
looking at constant and changing growth rates for the dividends of
Yeah,
each
and
stock.
we have fun trolling you and make you look like a retard. And you have fun sucking a woman dick. So yeah.
You have to understand, my friend, I am obsessed with cash flows. I am obsessed with making physical money, but also making spiritual coins.
I don't think you know what that means. Even Rui, I don't think this or
That's
a
why I preach
ratio.
on Cockhouse. I preach on Cockhouse hoping that there is some spiritual gain to me. Likewise, I work in real life to make sure there's financial gain. I'm all about gain. I'm very selfish, my friend.
You know what a ratio is, motherfucker?
I'm a real rabbi.
You don't know. Clearly,
So
you
what,
don't know.
Frankie?
I don't think he knows even what a ratio is.
What is the ratio, my friend?
You don't know.
It's like
My,
how
my
many
friend.
times one thing, it's like a comparison, it's like a mathematical comparison. 1 to 3 is the
Well,
same
these
as.
nuts are mathematical.
What the fuck is this?
These nuts are mathematical.
This guy. This is a problem. Like, look, you listen to a woman and you do what a woman tell you, so we'll be a retard like a woman. So yeah, all respect, of course. You should learn a little bit, from Rabbi. You should behave like a man. Uh,
Oh, child. Oh, child. Oh, child.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave, but I just want to say that jihadis, you sound and you talk and you act like an atheist. You should not really claim to be a Jew or a Christian for that matter. You embody everything that an atheist does. You believe that there's wisdom in comic books. You believe that there's wisdom in anything, right? And you don't follow God's will,
Is
unfortunately,
it
right?
it
And
is.
it's people like you that make the Abrahamic religions look bad, unfortunately.
I think the Abrahamic religions do a pretty good job of making themselves look
You
bad, number
see?
one.
You
And
see?
number two is writing. If there's wisdom in writing in a Torah or a New Testament, there's wisdom in writing in any other book.
Okay,
Okay.
but why do you call yourself jihadist?
Newsflash. I'm a jihadist.
What does that mean?
Well, you can use your imagination.
Because he comes from the perspective that he is a Jew when he's not. Because Moshe Rabbeinu made it very clear to him, if you don't do Shabbos, you're not a Jew. If you don't do the Torah, you're not a Jew. Yet he still insists that he's a Jew,
Yeah,
going
but he
against.
don't believe. He don't even think being a Jew is a good thing. He said that they doing a pretty good job. You're too bad.
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm not saying I'm saying it may or may not be a good
yeah,
thing, but
because he's a Zionist.
that burden of
That's my
proof is
point.
on you.
That's exactly
You can't
Zionists.
prove to us that it's a good thing,
Again,
can you?
that's literally what Zionists did. They changed what it means to be a Jew.
What is
So
Joe, what do you
telling
believe?
you I'm a Jew. I don't believe in Torah, but I'm a Jew. That was never the case prior to Zionism.
So Zionism is your belief. You believe that Zionism will take you to heaven, and the Zionist
Islam is just
agenda is the righteous one. That's what you believe.
Jew has always been someone who accepts the Torah, someone who accepts the old covenant given to Moses. That is what a Jew is.
No
With
shit.
them, they changed it. Now, is a Jew is someone who just belongs to the state of Israel, or someone who is whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've
that's
never
not
ch-
that's not what a
they've
Jew is.
never changed the definition of what it means to be a follower of Christ either.
Yeah, but we're not claiming that. We not one person tells you I'm a Christian, but I'm an atheist.
Exactly.
Randy, is that true though? That
Either you're a Christian or you're an atheist. Either you're a Muslim or you can't say I'm a Muslim,
Randy,
but I believe in
can
Quran.
you
I
hear
don't
me,
believe
or am I
in
in the Matrix?
No, it's like
Well,
saying I'm not Muslim, but I don't believe that the Prophet is a prophet. I don't believe that the Quran is truth, but there's some wisdom to it.
yeah, but I'm a Muslim.
well, maybe if more Muslims think like that, the world would be a safer and better place. How about that?
That,
But
but
that,
that's
but,
fine. But that's a red herring.
It's
but
That's
not
not.
a
that's not the
red herring.
argument.
That's the reality.
Okay, that's a reality that is irrelevant to the current question.
It's a good thing that Jews don't think you should be killed for violating the Shabbat. Sorry,
Okay,
that's a
so
good
that means
thing.
it's good that the Jews are opposed to the wisdom and to the law that God gave them.
Okay,
That's
so here's the case, Jihadis. Why don't you just leave the religion at all and just be whatever you are? That's not what I mean. If you lived in wherever you lived in, you're
Because
done.
it's called Reformation. It works in history, okay? And
reformed
maybe
is
it
nuts, nigga. Reformed is nuts.
and maybe if Islam could reform, the world would be a better
No.
place.
We're not. Yeah, but listen.
But that's a red herring.
It isn't a red herring. That's
Yeah, yes, it
reality.
is. I
It's
agree that
reality.
Islam needs reform. I don't like Islam. I reject it. I think it's so easy to destroy, even. Fine. It is a reality that Islam is a negative to the world. Okay. That is still irrelevant to the current question. It's a totally different story. It is a red herring by definition. Google what a red herring fallacy is.
Do you know
It
And
literally
Abdullah? Do you know Abdullah?
poses
Be honest.
something that is irrelevant as if it was significant to the discussion.
But I think I already know the answer. But I just want him to say it. Why do you feel it's necessary to call yourself a Jew? Like, what's the
I
point?
don't understand how it would be considered an irrelevant topic to be talking about Abrahamic faith.
No.
It's irrelevant because we're not talking about Abrahamic faiths. We're talking about Jews and how Jews use Judaism not as a religion, but rather as some sort of ethnicity when it's never been.
Okay, but would you agree that Jews, because of these beliefs, have been easier to coexist with than, let's say, their other Abrahamic faith adherents that take
So
things
how
to.
do you, so based on what? Now, when you say they're easier to coexist with, then the question would be based on what? Because you cannot claim that Jews are easier to coexist with, but at the same time, we've been kicked from 109 countries. You cannot hold both these claims.
Yes, you can, because you know why? Because people don't like success. No one
That's
likes
what.
to see, no one likes other people being
That's what.
successful.
That's interesting. Okay.
It's a
How about that?
fact. That's a
Well, what
simple
if I tell
fact.
I never met a Jew who's more successful than I am personally? So like, okay, now what?
Well, not all Jews have the slaves and the minds that you have. You have a very fortunate program, you know.
Correct, but not just that. But that disproves your point. That my contention with the Yiddishkeiks has nothing to do with their success. I'm more successful than they are. So then, what is it? Oh, obviously it's not that.
Well,
No,
no. Most
you cannot
people
say. So then by what token are we easier to? By what token are we easier to, uh, live with and coexist with if the outcome is not coexistence?
well,
The
because we
outcomes
don't, no,
Abdullah stuff.
because we don't want to chop off your head. That's why.
Dude, what is this?
Okay,
This is
but
so
for example,
boring. I
why
swear,
are you
this is
kicked,
so boring.
then why are you kicked from 109 countries?
Better to be kicked from 190 countries than conquer 50 of them and
Okay, that
destroy.
I'm not even disputing that. I'm not.
All right, so I don't see the
That's a red
problem.
herring. That's another red herring because that's not what's being discussed here. Okay, I agree with you, but no, that's not what I asked though. What I asked is how come is it you cannot hold contradiction.
Why
What I'm
is it
saying is you hold
one reason?
contradictory. That's what
One
I'm
main
saying.
reason is most of the countries that kick them are adherents to Abrahamic faith. Correct?
I don't know.
Competing Abrahamic faiths, mind
I'm
you.
there's no competition.
Yeah, there is.
There is
How
only
There's
one
come?
truth.
zero.
How
Osman,
How,
come?
you just said
What
it's
what what
easier
what
to live with
what
Jews,
the
what
but
Jewish
not
theology is so
what
unconvincing to the point where it only
of
has
those
what,
countries
20
where they
million.
were kicked, what percentage are Christian or Muslim versus non-Abrahamic? I'd like to know that statistic.
Irrelevant because it is the Christians and the Muslims have very clear moral stances. The Jews break all moral codes, hence they end up being rejected. There is no competition at the theological level. It is so easy to dismantle the Jews, hence they cannot grow in number. The only way for them to grow is to make babies left and right. But they're 20 million people. They will not grow. Their story is very unconvincing. So, which is why none of them even believe in it. Jews don't even believe in Torah. They don't even follow, they don't read it, they don't do none of that stuff. They don't even agree with. The more learned you are when it comes to Torah and the scriptures, then the more you are likely to not accept the rabbinical stances. So, then you have an issue here. I don't have that. Christians are very numerous. The Muslims are very numerous for other reasons, but there is no competition, regardless how you cook it. I don't see why you think 20 million people are in a competition, spiritually speaking, in the market of ideas and spiritual ideas. Why do you think they are in a competition with people who are more than a billion? There is no competition. If there was, you wouldn't be that few and we wouldn't be that many.
I think it's a good thing they're small in number. That's I think that's great.
But that's still irrelevant.
I wish Islam was as small in number.
And that's beautiful, yet it's still irrelevant. That's still irrelevant to the discussion. That's a red herring again.
But didn't the doesn't the Torah say that they'll be small in number in Isaiah as well? The
The
remnant.
remnant of Israel is always a minority, but that's not talking about the Jews, especially not today.
Well, what other
They're not
group is small in number?
the true Israel.
But they're large in number.
But there's a lot of people who are so-called Christians. There's a lot of people who are so-called Muslims. That doesn't mean that they are actually staying true to their beliefs. Just like there's Jews, but most Jews didn't stay true to God, according to the prophets.
Do you know when all of this is going to be solved? When the real Messiah comes and we all witness the revelation
what the
miraculously
hell?
in unison? How about
We
that?
have the Messiah. He already came, according to
Yeah, not really.
the prophets. Daniel chapter.
Well, you're still waiting for him to come back, aren't you?
I'm so
Correct.
confused. I'm so
But you're
confused.
waiting for him to come when, according to the prophet Daniel, he already came prior to
Yeah,
this.
but we're both waiting, aren't we?
Yeah, but
Are you waiting
but
for
can
the
you
Messiah to come?
reconcile? Can you reconcile your belief with your belief, though? Because the prophet Daniel made it very clear the Messiah comes before the destruction of the second temple. Yet you still believe he didn't come. Then why do you believe Daniel was a prophet? He lied to you very clearly. Okay, so you see, I don't have that issue. My belief doesn't contradict my belief. Your belief contradicts your belief. Therefore, your belief must be wrong. We don't even need to proceed. It's that simple.
I think Tovia Singer explains away Daniel.
Sylvia Singer can eat my ass.
Hey, Joe, how did you revert from Islam? Look at Joe. Joe is an ex-Muslim pretending to be a Christian.
There's nothing called, well, maybe he's pretending. I don't know. But you don't have to be born Christian to be a Christian. I don't know Joe. It's the first time I see him. I don't know what he is and what he isn't. I don't care
I have a
what he is.
feeling he's a larper.
I don't care. That's between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many people claim that I lie when it comes to being a rabbi, which I clearly don't. So
Do you know Abdullah Starts?
do you know what?
Abdullah Starts. These guys are such a retarded. Wallah, you are wasting your power on these people. You are. I'm trying to talk to these people. It's making me feel so dumb, you know?
By the way, I just went on a date with an Armenian,
Who?
an architect in New York City.
Who?
I'm not going to say their name.
Who the fuck asked?
No, because I know you both are Armenian.
Motherfucker, I'm not Armenian. What's wrong with you? I'm Aramaic. Dude.
Oh, then there's Rabbi who's Armenian.
He's not
I'm,
Armenian too. I am Aramaic. Aramaic. I speak the language of Jesus, mate.
I'm from Jerusalem.
But you could still be Armenian.
No, bro. What's wrong with you? Oh,
This guy's retarded. He's a
I
nigger.
Rabbi,
swear
I
he's
thought
a
you said
retarded.
you come from your
I swear
church
he's
and
a retarded.
everything's the Armenian church, no?
This guy is such a retarded.
No,
Oh, I thought you told me that.
I'm not Armenian. No.
Frankie, don't pretend you're not a Muslim, all right?
Bro, what's wrong with this man? Please tell me. Please tell me, Rabbi, what's wrong with this man?
Oh, he's a nigger kike.
I swear.
I'm the jihadist. I commit jihad against the Abrahamic faiths. That's what I do.
Well, what you can do is eat my ass.
Damn.
Once Frankie's done, gladly.
No, I don't.
Oh, Frankie slurps these nuts.
Astaghfirullah, ya haywan.
Oh, I said what I said, bitch.
You're a bitch.
I said what I said. Fuck.
All
Shit.
right, I got to run, guys. I've lined up a bunch of dates today. Off to the next date.
Who? Who?
Well, I just came from the Armenian,
Who the fuck asked?
but she's a communist. I don't like it.
Oh, what's wrong with these people? Wallah, what's wrong with these people? Should I go to sleep or should I learn?